Hello everybody and welcome back to another video by Funlearn Tutorials. Today we are continuing with looking at Stata file and so in the last video we imported some data. You see I opened the data editor browse because I don't want to accidentally edit the data set. Let me just check what happens if I open the editor. You can see I can change the data set because it's showing me the cursor. But if I open the browser, it doesn't let me change anything. So that is safer. So you can see that I opened 5 variables and 6 observations pasted into the data editor. Whenever you're working on a log file, just a quick reminder, make sure that your log file, the log is on here. That way everything that you see here gets reported. You don't have to the results that you see, you don't have to copy them and paste them somewhere. You just open the log file and then you have all the, it's like a personal secretary who writes down everything that you're doing right here. So essentially, now you see that this command section tells you every command that you have run. You first open the log file, then you closed the log file, then you open the log file again, then you viewed the log file. They don't show the entering the data variables, they just show you the bold ones. So you have the variables here, and this is the name of the variable and this is the label. Essentially what it means is the software Stata, it shortened, according to them, it shortened the name, basically removed all the space, and that doesn't takes away the meaning from the particular variable, but it's short for Stata. And then label is essentially what the actual data set is. So in properties, if you click on a particular variable, they show you this. So the variable of the name is Guinea index and the label is Guinea index. What it means essentially is, now what you can do is you can rename these. So I would like to rename these. I'll open this and see if I can, yeah. So I'll just do that. Yeah. So this is essentially locking the variable and not unlocking the variable. I'm going to open the variable here and let's see. Yeah. So let's say I want to change it to, okay, I'm going to change it to Guinea IN because I'm going to show you something else. Rename. So in this, under variable, you have name and you can change the name and you click enter. Invalid name specified. Why? I think I'm not allowed to use space. So let me Guinea IN. Enter and see, you have renamed Guinea index Guinea in. So they tell you the rename and the original variable name and the new variable name. Now why I gave it such a weird name instead of giving it Guinea is I want to show you that you can, let me just make this, yeah. I want to show you that you can actually use the command section as well. So if you, let me make it a little bit bigger, that way it will be easier for you to see. Sorry, let me, yeah. So rename, you can write the variable and then suppose you want to rename this particular variable. So you rename is sort of like a syntax. You want to rename a variable and then if you take your cursor to the variable, you see there's a little arrow that points to the left side. You want to click that and essentially this variable name will get imported here. This ensures that you're not making any spelling mistake or anything, any little mistake in mentioning the variable name, because that will actually change the command. So suppose you want to rename this particular variable to Guinea and you write it here. And then if you click enter, it renames it again. So instead of going here and renaming the variable, you can just do all of this like this. So you click on this arrow, this gives you the entire variable name. And I see that age dependency is no, it's just this variable, there is nothing else. So what I can do is age, and for dependency I can just write dip. Then I click enter and that changes the variable name. Similarly, I can write rename maternal mortality ratio model model. I don't remember the rest of the variable name. So I'm just going to go into the properties section, look at the variable model estimate. See, I couldn't remember the entire name, so I went to the label and they showed me the entire model label, maternal mortality rate. So I will rename this as maternal mortality rate because I don't need to remember the details of the variable. I can just go back to the Excel file and look at the definition that I used, and I'm going to hit enter. That changes the variable name. The label still remains. That way I can still remember what the variable is about. Maternal mortality ratio model estimate per 1 lakh live births. Then you have the survival to age 65 female cohort. So I can rename that as, I take the variable name and let's say I'll just write survive, something along that lines. So you have these variables, and then you can just go back to the data browse and you can see that the names have been changed here as well. So that is how you can change the variable names, sort of like a very basic introduction. And then you can run regressions, you can run time series analysis, and then whatnot. So this is how you can format the data set. This is what I like to do. These are sort of the first few steps that I do whenever I run an analysis. First is downloading the data that I want. Second is formatting it in the Excel file, and then I reformat it again in Stata and rename variables to make them look aesthetic, if you want to call them. Make sure that I understand what I'm doing. So that is how you can run the Stata basic introduction.